Hi there, I'm Clay Cunningham. I'm the pottery teacher at Lewis Central High School, teaching pottery and sculpture. Today I'm going to show you how to make bowls on the potter's wheel. We usually start with bowls because, number one, gravity and physics want to pull the clay outward because of centrifugal force, and also because it's going to be a manageable amount of clay that we can use. Later when we learn how to make mugs, we're going to be using a very small amount of clay, which can be hard for people with larger hands, high schoolers and adults. And then we start working on taller vases, which is going to be a large amount of clay, and physics is really going to try to sabotage what we're doing. So right now, most potters start out with bowls, and I'm going to get you started with that. First thing we need to know is what kind of tools you will need. First off, obviously we have the potter's wheel. This is going to be a tricky material to use, tricky tool to use, but once you learn how to play it, just like an instrument, it's going to be really fun and you're going to make some beautiful stuff with it. First thing we need to know is that there's a toggle switch on the side that's going to help turn it on. And we also have a foot pedal right down here, and it has what's called a rheostat in it, meaning if we give it a little bit of pressure, just like a car, it's going to go nice and slow. If we stomp down on the gas, it's going to go a lot faster. Unlike a car, if you take your foot off the pedal, it's going to keep going. It's not going to stop. So you need to keep your foot on the pedal to slow it down, speed it up, or to bring it to a stop. So you'll get to play around with that a little bit before you actually get started. Once you've played around, we're going to need to get the tools you need for working on the potter's wheel. First tool is a bucket and water. Without water, nothing else is going to work. The friction from the clay spinning around your hand is not only going to drag on your hand and make the clay not spin, but guess what? It's also going to make it very, very hot on your hands, and that doesn't feel very good. So I prefer warmer water, especially during the winter months, but it's completely up to you whether it's warm or cold. Another tool you're going to need is a sponge. This is a great way to transfer the water from there over to here without slopping it all over the place. This tool right here, hopefully you've seen before, this is a flexible rubber rib. This is going to be used for smoothing the clay. A wooden knife, or what a lot of people in the art industry call a sculptor's thumb, because this allows you to get into little areas where your big heavy thumbs don't work very well. We're going to be using the other end, which is a sharp, smooth end to trim away some of the clay. When you're all finished, we're going to be using one of these called a cutoff wire. This is made of metal. This is very, very sharp. If you wrap it around your fingers, it can cut through, so you want to be careful just to hold it with your hands. We'll be using this at the very, very end. And of course, you will need a ball of clay. For an average size bowl, I would recommend starting with about 1 pound of clay, 1 to 2 pounds. This is about 3.5, and I'm using a bigger ball of clay here just so it's a little bit easier for you to see in the video. But 1 to 2 pounds of ball of clay is going to be just what you need. When making bowls, they're going to come in a variety of shapes and sizes. This could be a very small bowl, which is what you're probably going to get your first few times if anything survives at all. And this bowl has not been trimmed on the bottom. Later, in another video, we will show you not only how to make a bowl that's the shape and size that you want, but also how to trim it so that it has a smooth foot ring on the bottom, which will make sure that your project does not wobble when we fire it. Notice that the bowls can come in a total variety of shapes and sizes, depending on what you like them for, or what you're planning on using them for. And in fact, you can even later end up using your skills and techniques to turn the bowls into a variety of different uses, such as a strainer that you could hang on the wall. So we're going to take you through the very basics of that. When you're getting ready to throw, you're also going to need one of these tools here. This is called a bat, B-A-T, just like a baseball bat, or the flying creature, a bat. And this is what's going to allow you to make a pot on the wheel, and instead of having to pick it up and flop it all around to move it off the wheel, you can simply move the bat and carry it safely back to your storage shelf. These are great. When I first started back in the 90s, we didn't have these, and you'd finish a perfectly beautiful pot in your own mind, right? And then you pick it up and you ruin it by moving it across the room. So these are a very valuable tool. The wheels will have little cotter pins on them. You're going to find the holes that match those on the back side. There are various size holes. And you're going to position those on the bat so that it doesn't move. Once you have that ready to go, we're all set to make your pots.